Requirement C, at what level of sales volume would Beckett make the same level of net operating income regardless of whether it outsources production? So this is an issue called the indifference point. An indifference point is a point at which we would make the same net income under two different scenarios. Now this is not the same question we asked before. We're not saying how much would we make the same net income we made before. We're saying at what level of revenue would each of these two different models make the same net income as each other, which is a different question. How we're going to answer this? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to find a point at which the old model of making net income and the new model of making net income give us the same level of income. So to me, the clearest way to do this is to say under our old model, we had CM per unit and we had fixed costs. Our old CM per unit was $120 per unit and our old fixed costs were $900,000. And based on a number of units, we have a certain amount of net operating income. Under our new model, our contribution per unit is $80 per unit, and our fixed costs are $500,000. And we've got net operating income. I'm just going to plug in a number of units here. I'll just put 8,000 units in. Now, what we can do to calculate what our net income is we can take our contribution per unit times number of units and take that quantity and subtract our fixed cost. And what that tells us is what our net income would be at this particular level of sales. And let's go ahead and prove that our little model works here. So if we've got 8,500 units under our old model, we'd make $120,000 of net income, and if we have 8,500 units under our new model, we make $180,000 of income. So all we've done here is, in a sense, recreated our income statement. And I've got both of these number of units linked together, so if I change one of them, they both change. Now, we could try to make these two things equal by a sort of brute force trial and error approach. That's going to take us a while. So one thing that we can do is we can use Excel's solver function. So here's what I would do. I'm trying to set this cell, E31. We're going to set it to its maximum, and we're going to change variable cell C31. So we're going to have Excel change the number of units to try to maximize our net operating income. In this case, we have to add a constraint. Our constraint is going to be that this cell, our net income under the old model, is equal to our net income under the new model. So what Excel is going to do is it's going to find the value of C31, number of units, which is going to change not only number of units under the old, but also a number of units under the new to make our net income the same for both of them. So we'll go ahead and let Excel do its thing. And what it does is it tells us at 10,000 units, both of these models will make us $300,000 of net income. So if we sell 10,000 units, we'd be exactly indifferent. Each model would give us the same amount of net income. Now, does that mean we're better or worse off with the new model or the old model? So moving on to part D, are we better off outsourcing? Well, are we likely to sell more than 10,000 units or less than 10,000 units? If we sell, fewer than 10,000 units. If we sell fewer than 10,000 units, for example, 8,500 units, we're better off outsourcing under the new model. Why is that? Well, our fixed costs are quite a bit lower, and the low fixed costs help us. If we sell more units, we're going to benefit from having a lower variable cost per unit. So if we're going to sell more than 10,000 units, the higher fixed cost is offset by the variable cost per unit savings. And we can plug in the value here of 12,000 as an example and show what happens. So if we have 12,000 units, we're better off under the current model than we are under the outsourced model. So if I'm management and I'm making a judgment here, I need to try to figure out what is my projected level of sales. Do I think it's likely that I'm regularly going to sell more or less than 10,000 units? If I'm going to sell fewer than 10,000 units, I want to outsource. If I'm going to sell more than 10,000 units, I'll keep my productive capabilities, save my variable cost per unit, and make money on the efficiency there. So that is requirement 9. Doing some more changes to CVP and working with the indifference point.